This is where that historic announcement will be made, where official collation of results will happen, as well as the declaration of the winner of this particular election. That's exactly what Nigerians want to hear. This is the culmination of a process that has lasted for over a year. Recall that February last year was when INEC issued the notice for this election. It's been a long process from party primaries to campaign, and now we're talking about voting still taking place in some parts of the country, and indeed the ultimate collation and announcement of results. The big question is, when will this results be announced? Recall that in 2015, the results were officially announced on Wednesday by INEC. In 2019, it was on Tuesday. But I'm standing by someone who should have an idea of when Nigerians should get to hear from INEC officially as regards the winner of this election. INEC National Commissioner for Voter Education and Information, Festus Okoye, is standing right here with me at the ICC. Barrister Okoye, thank you for joining us this hour. All eyes on the ICC. Nigerians cannot wait for INEC to decide when this particular proceeding will start. But talk to us about why it seems that it's taking longer, because the INEC Commissioner said collation will start in earnest by 6 p.m.
We have different tracks to the presidential collation. First, there must be an election at the level of the polling units. And for this particular election, we conducted the election in 176,606 polling units across the Federation. All these votes must be entered into what we call from EC8A, which is the polling unit level result. They must be entered, and then they must also be uploaded into our INEC Result Viewing portal. And then thereafter, the physical result will also be transferred to the collation center. And for the purposes of the presidential election, we have 8,809 registration areas, and collation will take place in all these areas. Then thereafter, collation will move to the local governments. And we have 774 local government areas of the Federation. Then thereafter, it will move from the local governments to the states, and it must take place in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. And the result must be brought to the National Collation Center physically by the scope, that is the state collation officer for the presidential election, and the resident electoral commissioner, accompanied by the security agencies. They must bring the results physically to this place, where the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, who is constitutionally mandated to announce presidential election results, will announce presidential election results, and no other person can do that, because he is named by the Constitution and also by the Electoral Act as the Chief Electoral Commissioner of the Federation and the returning officer for the presidential election. So he will take the center stage here at 6 p.m. And we are hopeful that by 6 p.m., some of the states will have concluded the process and brought their results here. And then at that podium over there, on that stool, the resident electoral commissioner and the scope will make that particular announcement in terms of the scores of each political party. And then the chairman of the commission will begin to record the scores of each political party in the different forms. And then we wait. That is the process and the procedure that we continue until we get all the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory before the chairman of the commission will make the ultimate declaration and make the ultimate return on the satisfaction by the presidential candidates of the provisions of Section 134 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Because Section 134 of the Constitution provides that for you to be declared as having been elected the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you must score the highest number of votes in the election, and you must also secure a quarter of the votes in 2/3 of all the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. It is on the satisfaction of this constitutional and legal requirement that the chairman will make the ultimate declaration and also make the return.
So can this delay be connected to the late deployment of materials that was reported in parts of the country? We understand that voting was not on all through the night in some places, particularly we noticed, we reported in Lube, in Abuja. There are also collations taking place late into the night in Adamawa. What was responsible for that, and is that why there's so much delay with this collation exercise?
No delay has occurred. We are confident that by 6 p.m., we will begin the collation of these results. We are aware of a state that has concluded collation at the state level, and they are presently on their way to the Federal Capital Territory and to the National Collation Center. So we are confident that collation will start at 6. Now, the process was concluded speedily in most states of the Federation. Yes, I agree that there were pockets of states where we recorded late commencement of pooling. But you will agree with me that the geography of Nigeria is difficult. There are some states of the Federation where our officers have to spend 3 hours on the high seas before they can even get to the registration area collation center. There are also some states in this Federation where we have to hire human carriers to take some of our presiding officers and assistant presiding officers up the hill to go and conduct election. There are also some states of the Federation where you have to almost go 4 hours before you can get to the state capital. So you have to take all these variables into consideration. But most of the states are doing well. Most of them are at the level of the local government collation. And we are confident that by late this night, most of them will have completed local government collation and will have gone to the state collation. And at the state collation, we don't envisage the process taking long. And so confidently, we are confident that this process will be speedily completed, because this commission is also anxious to make sure that we complete this process, because Nigerians are anxious. Nigerians want to know who their next president will be. Nigerians are also anxious to put a conclusion to this particular process, and we are determined to make sure that we complete this process as speedily as possible.
So it would seem that none of the state collation officer is here yet, but you're optimistic that they'll be here before 6 p.m., right?
Yes, because they have to bring the results physically to the National Collation Center in Abuja.
But in states where elections are still ongoing, how optimistic are you that collation will be done in time and you will get the results in before the end of today?
No. I didn't say we are going to get the results before the end of today. There is no doubt whatsoever that the bulk of the collation at the National Collation Center here will be carried out on Monday. There's no doubt about that. So we are going to be announcing the scores of the candidates intermittently as they come in. You also realize that in some of the states that are going to come here do not have airports. So they have to move from a place where there's no airport to a place where there's an airport before they can take a flight. And you also know that the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission does not have a private jet. If the chairman had a private jet, what we would have done is to send private jet to go and pick this scope and the resident electoral commissioners from one state to the other. Some of them have to take commercial flight, and some of them we have to also engage the services of Nigerian Air Force to bring them to Abuja. So we are going to have differentials in terms of when these results are going to come in. But I want to assure you that in most of the states of the Federation, we are doing very well, and that the results will come in speedily.
Quickly, let's talk about the IREV and how it has worked and performed for this election. Many were optimistic like that in the off-cycle elections, where as at 10 p.m. on election day, almost 90% of these results were already uploaded. Nigerians are concerned that it's been coming in trickles. How well is that portal performing for this presidential election?
Well, the portal is performing well. The results can only be uploaded when those who are supposed to upload the result upload the result. So in some of the states where the results have not been uploaded, we have advised our registration area collation officers to expedite action so that these results will be uploaded, so that Nigerians will know that these results are coming in, and they are coming in real time. Yeah, there were a few issues when these results started coming in. We didn't upload the results were not coming in with the speed with which we expected that they are going to come in. But if you check the portal, you can see that the results have been tumbling in.
What level are we now? Do you have an idea the number of polling units that have been uploaded as we speak?
I've not checked. You know, we declared the National Collation Center open, and when I get back to our situation room, I will open my own IREV and then take a look at where we are. But I'm confident that these results are coming in, and we are doing well with the IREV.
Trust politicians to spin the stories, because on social media, everyone who's been to a polling unit have an idea of how their parties fared, and there are lots of results also, trending online. And some are already talking about the credibility of the election commission in this election. Speak to us about the sanctity of the process and how much confidence Nigeria should still have in INEC concerning this particular election.
Well, this commission has been upfront with information. This commission believes that the antidote to fake news is openness and transparency. And we have been open and we have been very, very transparent. This commission is a Nigerian People's Commission. The commission is a public trust, and we have remained open and transparent with our processes and our procedures. And wherever and whenever we have challenges, we've made those challenges open and available to the Nigerian people so that they can assess what we have done and what we have not done and the challenges we have. So I believe that we have done well for the people of this country. This commission has no political party. This commission does not pander to any candidate or to any individual. Our allegiance is to the people of this country, and our commitment is to the process and procedures in relation to this election. This commission will announce whoever Nigerians have voted as the winner of this particular election. So I want to assure Nigerians, as the chairman has assured over and over, that this present commission will continue to work hard for the people of this country, because we have the courage to do the right thing, and we have the determination to make sure that our electoral process continues to do well.
How well did the beavers work yesterday in most of the polling units? We heard the INEC commissioner say it has now become the focus for thugs now. Instead of snatching the ballot papers, they are going for the beavers. Talk to us about the performance of the beavers machines across board.
Well, the beavers is the nightmare of election riggers. Before, people snatch ballot papers and ballot boxes, but they have seen that snatching ballot papers and ballot boxes has become a completely useless venture. So their target now is the beavers, trying to steal the beavers, trying to smash the beavers, and also trying to render the beavers impotent. But I want to say that the beavers is the ultimate arbiter. The beavers is the ultimate game changer in relation to our elections. And we are going to continue to improve the technology of the beavers in terms of the hardware upgrade and also in terms of the software upgrade. The beavers has come to stay. We can only improve on it. We cannot go back on it. Anybody who is thinking that the incident form will return in our electoral process is making a huge mistake. Technology travels forward. We will never travel backwards with technology. And so we are moving ahead. After the 2023 general election, the commission will further improve on the input of technology into the electoral process, but ultimately human beings conduct election, and we are going to continue with our civic and voter education so that the Nigerian people will continue to understand what we do and continue to understand the trajectory of the electoral process and their own input into the electoral process, because as the chairman continues to emphasize, the conduct and administration of a good election is a shared responsibility. It's a multi-stakeholder venture. Unless all of us gather together and agree and develop that ultimate democratic spirit that allows us to believe in the rule of law and due process and also have fidelity to our national institutions, it will be a long way. But I believe that with the progress we have made, with the type of trust and engagement the Nigerian people have with the electoral process, we are making progress, but we are making progress slowly. We don't want to begin to run very, very fast and then stumble on the way. We want to make progress and make progress slowly.
Talking about progress, one of the progress that we have reported in the recent election has been early arrival of materials, and then the journalists talked about it, that INEC has really improved, but it reared its ugly head again in some parts of the nation during this election. Did the cash crunch or the naira scarcity play any particular role in this?
Well, I will not. We didn't move materials with the speed we felt we needed to move materials. We didn't arrive some polling units with the speed and at the time we felt we ought to arrive, because we prepared well for this election. And we don't want to offer excuses or make excuses for ourselves. This election was conducted within the context of so many challenges. The challenge of security. Some of the transporters who we engaged backed out at the last moment on grounds that they can't guarantee the safety of their vehicles. Some of the core members and some of the students in federal tertiary institutions in their penultimate year that were supposed to serve as presiding officers and as assistant presiding officers, some of them backed away at the last moment on grounds of security challenges. So we had to recalibrate. And that recalibration, that remobilizing in some states of the Federation did not happen at the speed we envisaged. But valuable lessons have been learned, and we believe that going forward, we are going to do much, much better than we did this time around.
So you're saying the Commission got all the cash it needed as promised by the CBN?
We got funds that we needed to pay the transporters and also pay the ad hoc staff because the bulk of our transactions in terms of works and services are paid electronically. So what we needed was the small cash that will enable us to pay ad hoc staff their transportation allowance and also pay transporters for the services they rendered on election day.
What's the preliminary assessment you are getting as to vote buying? Because that's one of the reasons why the federal government mopped up cash from the people. Did it work?
I don't have any information relating to that because we were focused on delivering on our mandate. I've not been focused in relation to that, those areas. Maybe when we are slightly more relaxed, we'll get information from the ICPC, from the EFCC, and some of these other security agencies who we are engaged with that particular process, because we had meetings with them, we had consultations with them, and they assured us that they were going to deploy their personnel to polling units to make sure that nobody violates the sanctity of the polling units. But I have not paid attention to the issue of vote buying. We paid attention to making sure that we complete this process and that this movement to various levels of coalition starts in earnest.
So while we're waiting for 6 p.m. for the coalition to start in earnest, yes, what can you tell Nigerians? How can they confirm the figures that you are reading about online? Is there any alternative to this coalition center as we speak to be able to be sure that they are not feeding on fake news?
Now, if you look at Section 25 of the Electoral Act, the Commission is the only agency, the Commission is the only organ, the Commission is the only commission authorized to announce election results and make declarations and return. No other individual is authorized to do that, because the moment results begin to fly from one network to the other, from one social media to the other, it creates tension and also it creates challenges for the country. So I will advise that people should be circumspect. People should be very, very careful in the way they release information and figures relating to what they saw at the polling unit, or what they had at the collation center, or what they got at other levels. And be patient enough to wait for the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, who has been given that constitutional power and constitutional responsibility to make a declaration and also make a return.
Dr. Koye, you're experienced in this. You have worked with the INEC in previous elections. Nigerians want to know how long more it would take to know the next president of this country. You must be able to tell us how long more, given what you have noticed, in this ongoing election.
Nigeria will have a president based on satisfaction of constitutional and legal requirements. Our resident electoral commissioners are working hard to make sure that the various levels of collation are completed and completed on time. So I'm sure Nigerians are not going to wait for too long. We are anxious to complete this process. Nigerians are anxious to know who they are.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Just give us a guess.
We are going to complete this process speedily.
Speedily?
Yes.
And speedily can mean maybe till the end of this week?
The moment they complete the process at the state level, we will make sure that we make arrangements to get the state collation officer for the presidential election to the Federal Capital Territory and to the National Collation Center. Any state that completes the process will make sure that they get here.
So flights are being cancelled. Yes. Are there alternatives to send the figures in now electronically, just in case the state collation officer can make it here?
They must come here. The scope must come here. The resident electoral commissioner must come here. They must make that presentation to the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, and that presentation must be projected here and then recorded by the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. We have our own plan B. If the scope is unable to get a flight, if the Resident Electoral Commission is unable to get a flight, together with the security agencies, we have a plan B to get them here speedily so that they can come and complete this process and let Nigerians know who their next president is.
All right, so you're saying that we have to wait and count on your choice of word, speedy. But you're not sure exactly when that, because all of this now is dependent on when the state coalition officer gets here in Abuja.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
We are very
talking to
hopeful.
us. Glad to have you join us on the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Okoye.
Very well.